I'm here so I won't get fined.
You think you know sports? Well, you don't know. Well, you don't know Jack. The You Don't Know Jack Show starts now.
And hello, and welcome to the You Don't Know Jack Show with Jonah.
Hey.
Aaron.
No.
And Carson.
I don't want to be Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to be Adrian Peterson.
And today it is week 2 of the NFL season, and we are recapping it. And the Cowboys winning against the Redskins on
Woo!
Sunday, and
Let's get another one against the Bears here Sunday night.
we'll talk about that in a moment. But for now, here are the highlights, courtesy of Fox and NFL.
Prescott throwing, blitz coming, Beasley makes the catch, and moving another one. Cole Beasley down to the 5.
Beasley.
Back second down, blitz coming in, got Deshaun Jackson wide open. Jackson all the way down to the Cowboys 40. Elliott in the backfield. Prescott on the fake chase, and Witten wide open. Gets a block.
This guy wide open.
Fake to Elliott, pressure coming. Prescott gets it. Swing wide open.
That should have been his first passing touchdown if he could have.
Bounce inside the 5.
He'll get it.
Wide open.
He'll get it
Wide
Sunday night.
open. Everybody's wide open today.
A lot of people were wide open in this game. Both defenses aren't that good.
Who's winning it? The Cowboys clearly winning it. Ezekiel Elliott getting behind that offensive line. And Dak Prescott says that's finishing. Fake to Jones. Cousins up top. Jordan Reed hauls it in right near midfield.
You picked him.
Oh, yeah. I remember that now.
Jones cuts up.
You dropped him.
Yeah, my running back situation isn't very good.
I don't think that one should have been called a touchdown. It's close, but
I don't know if there was enough to overturn the original ruling.
I didn't see, any of this game at all.
See, that's the thing. Wide open.
told you a lot of people were wide open on this game.
It's probably the secondary
wide open.
from both teams.
See the matchup. Crowder working on Skandrick, and you can't throw it any better, folks. Crowder going to get thrown into the wall.
Yeah, talk about his throw to Barry Church there. That was a good one.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. They need to do more of that.
Yep.
That's
I
a
thought
recipe
besides
for-
the fumbles, he played better than he did in week 1.
Mhm.
And so did Dak.
Dak looking like C.J.
Defense
Beathard
played
with
the
his
defense
rushing
played about the
touchdowns.
same, but
Yeah.
those two will get better as the year goes on. I mean, they're rookies,
Dude,
Got to give them time.
I like Dak. He's a good quarterback.
You know why he wears number 4?
Why?
For his mom. His mom died a few years ago.
Oh, jeez. Oh, that was a disgrace of a
That was just a good play.
play. Yeah, Trent Murphy.
Yeah, he punched it out.
I had him on my team with 7 points.
Got to give him credit for that defensive play because he was holding it on pretty tight. The second fumble was on Zeke, but that one was just a good play, defensive play. Yeah, his only catch of the year.
Wide open. Again.
Yep. I remember seeing that, and I was just shaking my head.
Here it is.
Barry Church, wide open.
What are you thinking? What? There's nothing there. No, there's Morris because
Morris.
Zeke fumbled again. So they put Morris in. Which he should get a few more touches anyway. Just because he is a good back. But
Gaping hole.
Oh.
that
would have been a pick.
should have been the end of the game right there. I thought this was going to be an Aaron Rodgers type thing here. It was a bad throw though.
That was
Didn't even give him a chance.
that was
to catch
way too far for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
So again, there's the highlights from the NFL YouTube channel, and also courtesy to Fox for the commentary and the video that you did not see, but we did. Was this win impressive or not really?
I mean, it was a divisional game, so I mean, obviously it was going to be close, but I think Dak looked pretty impressive in this game, like spreading out.
I don't think there's
and-
any really. The only impressive win I've seen so far from the NFL is the Vikings beating the Packers. Other than that,
That was pretty impressive.
other
I would
than
say.
that, they've been pretty.
But yeah, the Cowboys.
There hasn't been really any big upsets.
The Cowboys win wasn't as
'Cause
impressive.
I think the Cowboys were favored in this game, so it was like,
Yeah.
Whatever. I guess they were the divisional champs, so last year, and it was
Even the Cowboys
at their
did beat them.
place,
Yeah.
and
But the
still
Cowboys
starting a
have
rookie
been-
backfield. So
Cowboys have been known to win road games and not home games.
yeah, I don't know. It's something with their stadium. It's like
It's all Jerry Jones.
too much money, so maybe it's too comfortable to play there. I don't know. I don't get it, but
So, could or should the blame be placed on Cousins for the loss for the Redskins?
I don't know. I mean,
I think Cousins played it pretty well.
I'd blame their defense.
Yeah.
Really.
I'd say that more.
Yeah, I'd blame their defense. That's all I really
How
have to
bad
say.
of an
about it.
interception was that, though, at the end?
Yeah, that was stupid, but he was under pressure, and he didn't see Barry Church hiding back there, so he was going for that crossing pattern. Barry Church kind of just stepped in the way, and sometimes quarterbacks just don't see that. Like, to us, it's obvious, and it's like, what are you doing? But to him, he sees something different because he's actually there, and it's... We get on quarterbacks all the time, like, what kind of throw is that? But we don't see what they see, so we don't know.
We don't know.
So he could have been open from what he saw, but Barry Church jumped in there.
Yeah, Barry Church is just, Barry Church.
The impressive part is the defense actually stepped up for once when they needed to.
Yeah.
Unlike
actually
in the
made
Giants
plays.
game,
Yeah.
this game
Yeah,
they
they
did.
made a play in the red zone where they
Yeah.
couldn't do it against the Giants.
Well, they held them 3 times, or twice to field goals, and then they had that interception.
But,
so.
I mean, like, just the fact that they didn't allow them to score at all in the red zone basically won them the game.
This game, too, they scored 2 touchdowns, and they won. See? Scored touchdowns instead of field goals.
Yep.
There you go.
So Zeke's fumbling, obviously a little bit of an issue. One really was a big one. They did end up getting one of them back.
Yeah, he recovered his own.
How big of an issue do you think this could be for Zeke, and do you think it could eventually lead to him being replaced as the starter for
They said
a while?
his workload's going to be the same. They said they're not worried about it. He said he's not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. The one, Josh Norman just made a really good play. Anybody would have fumbled that ball because he was holding it really tight, and he still lost it. So he must have punched it out really hard. The second one was Zeke's fault, but he did recover it. So, I mean, I don't know. I've seen a lot worse.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
Melvin
you've-
Gordon last year, Amir Abdullah last year, fumbling every single play. I've seen worse.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
No.
you've seen many rookies come into the league. Adrian Peterson had many fumbling issues coming
Tiki
in.
Barber,
Tiki Barber had many fumbling
and
issues.
he's
But-
like a
coming
Hall
in.
of Famer.
Both guys were able to kind of get it to a point where it's not much of an issue anymore.
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
Zeke still may be learning that NFL guys are looking for the ball more than what
Well,
they
he
were in
hasn't-
college, so they're
Yeah.
better
He
to
hasn't-
punch it out.
He's not like holding out like DeMarco Murray does or anything, or like Michael Vick, where he's just holding out there in the air.
Yeah.
Like I said, one was just a good punch. The other one, maybe he was holding a little bit too loose, but he recovered it. He had the awareness to recover it himself. So,
But
I don't know.
yeah, I feel.
I've seen a lot worse, so I'm not overly concerned about it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at.
It'll
look
take a
at-
lot for him to get benched.
You look
Yeah,
at
a lot.
You look at AP with fumbling issues, and then he goes on to be, pretty much the number one running back. So,
I can't see Zeke getting benched, and if he
No.
did, he would still have
I wouldn't see that.
a huge workload. Like
Yeah,
they're not going to use him; they're going to
because
help him.
they picked him for a reason.
And I hear people saying on Facebook they should start Morris. I'm like, no, you don't pick a guy 4 and don't start him. No.
Maybe you. Well, you could say the same thing about Jared Goff, too.
That's stupid. They shouldn't even picked him, but
Well,
that's another thing.
Jeff Fisher's an idiot. That's all I'm going to say on that for right now. So quickly, Dez Bryant back on track, or do you think this was just one game, or do you think he's back for good?
Well, they just got to keep getting the ball to him. He can make plays. A lot of people are saying they're blaming Dez for the lack of targets in week 1. That was the game plan. They didn't target him. This time they targeted him, and he had a lot better stat line and helped them win the game. So you got to throw to him.
Yep.
You're
All
just
right.
not gonna-
So we're going
not
to do a
gonna throw
little
them, yeah.
little something different here today. Aaron has to leave early, so we are going to quickly take a break, and then we'll be right back to talk college football, and then Joan and I will finish the show with talking more NFL. So we'll be right back right after this.
Do you like shopping on Amazon? Well, now you can do it by helping the show at the same time. Go to the website youdon'tknowjackshow.com and click on any of the Amazon links, and then you can bookmark it. And every time you shop on Amazon, click the bookmark. It's the easiest way to support us without any extra cost to you. Now back to the show.
And that's it. I pretty much have them winning it all now after
You have
what
Louisville
I've
going all
seen.
the way?
That quarterback's too good. They have too many skill players. I see Ohio State probably making the playoff too, honestly. And I don't know if Iowa even wins the Big Ten West now. Wisconsin didn't look that good last week either, but they still won.
Yeah. I think both Ohio State and Louisville have a very good chance of both for sure being in the big.
I don't think
in the
Florida
college
State
football
does
playoff.
anymore. They're pretty much
No,
done.
Florida State's done.
Oklahoma's done. Iowa's done.
Iowa is more than likely done. They'd have to win out,
Win the Big
win the
Ten.
Big Ten championship, and they would have to.
Yeah, I don't think they
have to
make
do
it.
all.
I don't think they
So
make it.
they'd have to beat whoever wins the Big Ten
If they
East.
win the Big Ten West, they're not going to win the championship game against an Ohio State. It's just not going to happen. They
If
probably
somehow
won't
Michigan
even. They
gets
probably
to it.
won't even beat Michigan.
If somehow Michigan gets there, do you think they could beat Michigan? Do you have
I think they'd have a better chance of beating Michigan than Ohio State, but I don't think Michigan beats Ohio State either. I think Ohio State wins the Big Ten, and
Do you think Iowa's defense could be good enough to stop Ohio State's offense at times, though?
not if they're not good enough to stop North Dakota State's offense.
That's true.
I mean, they got pounded on the ground. It was embarrassing.
So the next question: Iowa's out of the top 25. They were ranked 13th.
Yeah,
Did they deserve that big of a drop?
I don't think so. I mean, I could see like 24th maybe, but geez, the whole thing.
And then
Come on, man.
And then they put Nebraska in the top 20.
Oh my God. Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. They
Who do
always-
you
they
blame
always
the
choke.
most for the Iowa loss?
I don't even know. I think it was just North Dakota State wanted it more. I don't really blame anybody.
Well, yeah.
North Dakota State's a good football team, and it's just the way it is.
I'll say they are a good football team, but that is a team that Iowa needs to beat if
Yeah.
they're going to go far into the playoffs.
I
and
agree
I
with
will
that.
blame Kirk Ferentz and not Norm Parker.
You know what
whoever
this
the
game
offensive
showed me
coordinator
was
is.
like the last 2 games of last year.
Yeah.
It felt like watching the Big Ten championship game where They had control until the very end,
Yeah.
and then they just fell apart.
Yep. So I will blame Kirk Ferentz and the offensive coordinator for that conservative last drive that
Yeah,
Iowa
see,
had the
that's
ball.
Iowa.
Because
You just handed them the game there.
Because what you do is you should run the ball on first down and then
You gotta
play
throw
action
it. You
on
gotta
second
throw
down.
it. You gotta
And if
throw
you don't
it.
get it, then you throw
You
the ball
have
on
to
third
get
down.
that first down.
Because
with the momentum they had,
yes,
you
exactly.
have to get the first down.
Absolutely.
And you have to. I would have came out throwing. I would have kept throwing. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
They had so much momentum, and that's the thing with these
Why
FCS
not?
schools. If you give them even a little bit of hope, like it's a
Well,
scoreless
it was
game
tw-
at the end of the
it
first
was
quarter,
21
it's 7-7, they're gonna think they have the
It
opportunity.
was
to win because you
21-14
let
like
them
the
hang around.
whole second half.
Yeah,
And they just let them hang around.
exactly.
It was too
You
conservative.
can't do
And
it.
that's like the Cowboys were in week 1. And they lost.
See, I
You
don't
have to take chances.
I don't get why teams, they obviously think that taking chances is risky, but like why
I
does
do it in Madden.
why does it
and
matter? Why does it matter
I
if
win
it's
all.
risky?
I win all the time in Madden.
If it's going to help you win the
I play in
game,
the hardest difficulty.
then do
and
it.
I win all the time. 'Cause
They
I
don't
always
have
go for it.
They don't have like the courage or whatever to
It could be 4th and 1 at the 50.
Yeah.
Iowa could be down by 7 with
And
like
they-
2 minutes left,
could
and
throw
they'd
like
still
a-
punt it.
they could throw like a touchdown pass or something, Like they don't
That decision for the Hawkeyes not to go for it is the exact reason why Kirk Ferentz is not an NFL coach.
Yeah. They don't take the risk,
Was there a 4th
chances.
down they didn't go for? No, they went for a 4th down. They scored a touchdown.
Probably, but you got to get that first down.
Yeah. And now we gave him an extension. Great.
Yeah.
I think he's a good coach. I really do. I just think, I don't know, maybe the game's passed him by. His route doesn't work as well anymore. It's more of a spread. The Hawkeyes need somebody who's going to spread it out.
Yep. Well, I think Beathard
That's it.
has the ability. It's just that the
Yeah,
offensive
Beathard, we have a
coordinator-
lot of weapons on offense. Spread it out.
The offensive coordinator just
Pass
has
the
not been
ball.
creative enough
Like-
with his play calling. And I really thought that
I don't get it.
freshman quarterback that they got, I thought he
Yeah,
looked
he
good
came
his
in and
couple
made
passes.
that throw. And
I really think Iowa's going to like him next year. He's 6'5".
I'm not gonna like
225
anybody.
pounds. He's got a ways to go in pounds, but
I don't blame Kirk Ferentz as much as the as much as the offensive
ultimately,
coordinator.
though, I think it is.
But he could say, like, fire this guy. I'm bringing in this guy.
right.
But he won't.
But I think there's an
Which he
extent
should.
of it that Kirk Ferentz probably told the offensive coordinator, "Hey, you need to be conservative on this drive."
He probably
with your
did.
play calling.
And that's worked for That's worked in the past for the Iowa, but
Yeah.
it
But
just
when
doesn't work anymore, especially against an FCS school where they're going to do whatever it takes to win.
Yep.
If
Momen-
you play
momentum
conservative
they had.
and just hand them the game, you're just like, yeah.
They just scored.
That's
They
like
were
Terrence
all
Williams
pumped up.
running out of not running out of bounds. It's like, here,
Yeah,
just
there
take
you
the
go.
win. Here you go. You can have it.
We don't care.
So,
Like what?
so again, Iowa out of the top 25, and then number 22 Oregon gets upset by Nebraska 35-32.
You know what though? Iowa's still going to beat Nebraska.
I guarantee they will. But Nebraska is now ranked 20th. They're ranked higher than Oregon was when they beat them. How do you rank Nebraska that high?
They won't be. It's not going to last.
Like,
Nebraska fans, if there's any listening, you better live it up while you can because it's not going to last, and Iowa will still beat you. I stand by that. So
that's just ludicrous to think
I
of
stand by that.
Oregon that was ranked 22nd, and then you put Nebraska ahead
well,
of
that's
that.
like Wisconsin beating LSU and going to like 9th. Like what?
Yeah. I mean, and now Wisconsin.
That's not going to last either.
Wisconsin's still 11th. After
How?
almost losing to Murray State.
Oh my God.
Murray State. At least people know who North Dakota
And they're
State
going to
is.
drop Iowa out of the top 25.
Yeah, it's ludicrous. Speaking
Iowa's
of that,
still
we'll
a
talk
good
about-
football team.
Yeah, they still.
Yeah,
are
they
gonna get a
lost.
good
They're
bowl.
still a good football team.
So,
Don't
so Iowa's got a lot of work to do though. They need to win some games.
Yeah,
But
they got to win this one.
how about this
Saturday?
Alabama barely beating Ole Miss, 48-43.
I don't know. I think Ole Miss is a good team, but they just can't close.
Yeah, they were kind of behind, and then they made
They
it
couldn't
close
close
at the
against
end.
Florida State. They couldn't close against Alabama. And
Yeah.
they're always going to only be so good because they can't close. That's just like Iowa. They couldn't close the deal.
Would you say that was easily the best game of the weekend? Last weekend?
No, the North Dakota. No. Yeah. I don't know. I think NFL right now for me is more exciting.
Yes.
I'm not just saying that because Iowa lost. It just is. Like,
Yeah.
anybody knows being an Iowa fan, like, it can get boring to watch their games.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we might win a lot of games, but it's run, occasional pass, run. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, if you give Beathard the opportunities to air it out in a spread offense, you know what I mean? I'll get it.
So,
Yeah.
and then, that game I'd say was probably the best of the weekend. And then Michigan State taking down, Michigan State was ranked 12th. They take down number 18 Notre Dame 36-28. And now Michigan State is ranked 8th, which I think is a little bit too high for them even. What'd you think of that game?
What game?
Michigan State, number 12 Michigan State beating number 18 Notre Dame 36-28.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's another team you got to watch out for. Do they beat a Michigan or... I mean, they beat Michigan last year. But could they beat an Ohio State? I don't see it.
No.
I don't see
even them
anybody
beating
beating Ohio
Michigan.
State. Ohio State always has good skill players. That's just the way it is. And they're going to probably win it. So.
Yep. All right. So now we go to the new segment, which is no longer called Yay or Nay. It's no longer.
Can we do like my predictions?
No longer called Audacious or Authentic. It is
I like that
called
Thursday night game, Houston, New England.
Ludicrous or Legit.
Julian Edelman, they're going to
Yeah.
throw him in at quarterback. And
We're going to do a couple more college
he do
things, and
that?
then we'll get to the picks. Ludicrous or Legit. Iowa will not get to the Big Ten championship game, Jonah.
I don't know. That could maybe be both. I don't know.
Come on, dude.
That's-
I'm on a time thing.
That's too
It's
hard.
ludicrous.
It's too hard.
They'll still make it.
It's too hard of a question.
All I have to do is beat Wisconsin. They're not that good either, so Iowa's going to make it. They're not going to win it. I can almost guarantee that because Iowa State's better, but I still think they make it.
All right. I will say that's probably ludicrous as well for now.
Do they win
And-
their bowl game is the question.
Yeah, let's not talk about that yet. It will be Ohio State or Michigan that wins the Big Ten. Ludicrous or legit?
That's legit. I've been saying that the whole past 10 minutes.
Jonah?
I'd say legit.
Yeah, I'd say
That's definitely legit.
legit as well. Alabama, again, will make the college football playoff. Jonah, ludicrous or legit?
Legit.
Legit. Like I said, as long as they have Nick Saban at coach. That's all you need. You don't even need players out there. He'll go play for you.
It's like NFL teams that, keep making it.
It's
to the
like
Super
he's
Bowl.
playing chess and like the other coaches are playing checkers.
I
really.
think I heard somebody
Yeah.
make that
That's
make
just
that
the way
comparison.
it is.
Yes. I thought
like Bill
Alabama was going to
Belichick.
have a down year, but it's been the opposite of
Exactly.
that. They've been very good. So, games of interest for this week in college football.
Yeah, now he's got to eat his words when Bama wins the championship.
Number 11, number 11 at number 8, or number 11 Wisconsin at number 8 Michigan State could be an interesting game. Aaron, who do you got?
Who? Michigan State. Who?
Wisconsin and Michigan State.
Let's go Michigan State. I think we'll both be rooting for Michigan State.
Yep.
So
Jonah?
I'd have to say the
Rutgers
same.
Hawkeyes. Who do you get? Rutgers. No.
Yeah.
Jonah, you got
Michigan.
Michigan State.
Michigan
I'm
State.
going to say Wisconsin. I don't want them to
damn you.
win, but I think Wisconsin's going to win. I think
Be good for Iowa if
I
they
think it's going to
don't.
be an upset.
I don't think they do. I think Michigan State looks better right now.
Mm-hmm.
Where's it at?
It's at Michigan State,
Well, there you go.
which is why I think
I don't know how
everybody's
you
going to
pick
lean
against
towards
that.
Michigan State, but I'm thinking Wisconsin might do it.
Ah,
I don't want them to because I hate the state of Wisconsin, but I think they do.
Of course
All right. Number 12, Georgia at number 23, Ole Miss. Who do you got, Aaron?
I'm picking Ole Miss to get back on
I'm
track.
going with it too. Rolling with Ole Miss. It's at Ole Miss. Jonah, who you got?
They
Got
gotta
to say the same.
How are they still ranked? I don't care if they're in the SEC or not. They're 0-2.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
that's very true too. But they did lose to 2 good teams in the top 25.
Yeah, but Florida State didn't look good at all last week.
But yeah, Iowa should not drop off that far.
No.
So then the next one, Arkansas, number 17, Arkansas at number 10, Texas A&M. Jonah, who you got?
Yeah, I saw they were both ranked. I was like, what?
I say Texas A&M.
I'm going to go with the Razorbacks. They look good this year, and they're going
Razorbacks?
to keep going.
Well, I think I'm going to go with the 12th man in Texas A&M, the real 12th man after Seattle stole it. I'm going to say the Aggies pull it off at home.
Unless A&M gets Manziel back, they're not going to be good.
They got a pretty solid quarterback this year. A&M
When-
did. They got him on a
Manziel-
transfer from Oklahoma.
When Manziel was actually good.
And maybe Oklahoma's regretting that. I don't know. But
Yeah, they're like, shit.
now he's better than Mayfield. Oh, shit. Iowa at Rutgers.
Rutgers.
Can Iowa blow this team out, or will it actually be close?
I think they're a little bit rattled from last week, but they'll probably blow them out. It'll probably start off close, but
Yeah.
they'll get their feet under them. And
I think
like I
it's gonna
said, it's still a good football team.
I think it's
Yeah.
going to be close for
They
3
ju-
quarters, and then
It was
Iowa's
just
gonna,
a trap game last week.
Yeah,
It was a trap game.
I think it's going to be close for about 3 quarters, and then Iowa's going to get a touchdown or 2 in the 4th and kind
Yeah.
of coast on
Yeah.
from there. All right, now to NFL predictions quickly.
Hurry up.
Houston versus New England.
Houston.
Aaron, you got Houston?
Yeah.
What? Really?
Jonah,
Come
who
on,
you got?
Jonah. Hurry up.
I'd say New England.
With a
obviously.
third string. Oh,
And
whatever.
I'm going with
Just go.
Houston. I don't like to bet against Bill Belichick, especially after he started 2-0, but I'm going to go with
Yeah,
Houston.
but
I'm going to go with that defense. They're going to make
Yep.
Jacob Brissett or whoever his name is.
Brisket.
They're going to
Jacoby Brisket.
They're
or
going to make
something.
brisket out of him, sandwich him, J.J. Watt.
A
and
black
Jadeveon
quarterback
Clowney.
for New England. I was thinking to myself the other day, that hasn't been done, has it? They've never had a black quarterback.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
That's a good question, actually.
They've had Bledsoe, and then they had Brady for years,
They
and
might
then
have
they
had
had
some
Castle
backups,
for that
but I don't know
one
if
year.
they've had ever a black quarterback start for them.
Yeah,
That'd be
don't know.
interesting. Anyways, that
Well, that
could
was a
be
good question.
something to watch. Maybe they'll mention that on the telecast tonight.
Minnesota.
Minnesota versus Carolina.
Vikings.
I'm gonna have to go with Carolina. I'm gonna
I'd
have
say
to go with
Vikings.
Carolina.
I'm going to go with Vikings, too.
I think-
picked
Well,
bet
yeah,
against
I know
them
you're
already.
going to.
I think what's
but
going to happen.
Well, I picked the Packers last week. I bet against them. I'm not
think,
doing it again.
I think
Is
what's
it
gonna,
at Carolina?
It's at Carolina.
I think
Yeah,
what's
I'm
going to
going with
happen
Packers.
is what happened last week with
Vikings defense made Rodgers look silly.
With the-
I don't
they'll
know.
make
You
Carolina
guys are
look
feeling
silly.
good about Bradford now, but
yeah.
he'll have
I-
those 1 to 2 good weeks. Just
Yeah,
wait.
I think
He
it'll be like
He's gonna struggle against that defense.
I think they'll keep hanging around Carolina.
It'll be
Carolina
close.
will be they'll score a lot.
It'll be
first.
close. It'll be
I
And
don't
close.
then
think
Vikings
anybody
will come
scores
back.
over 24 points.
No, it'll be
Well-
like 17-14. or
Yeah,
something.
they'll come
Vikings
back.
again with the same score.
Yeah.
But losing this time.
No.
They'll
Anyway.
come back and then throw more touchdowns.
Yeah, Graham Gano's
And
got to
this-
redeem himself
All right.
for the week 1 miss.
All right.
Carolina's
and
gonna
here
lose.
is
He's gonna
possibly the best matchup
I
of
don't
the
care
week.
what you say.
Denver versus Cincinnati.
I'm gonna go with Cincinnati,
Joe?
and it's at Cincinnati. Keep that in
I'd
mind.
say Bengals too.
And
Well,
I'm
you're
gonna-
a Bengals fan, John.
And I'm going to pick the Bengals as well because I think the Denver defense is going to do well, but I think the Cincinnati
offense isn't
defense is
gonna
going to
be
do
good,
even
yeah.
better. And they're going to make Simeon look foolish.
Yeah.
All right. And then Washington versus the Giants at New York.
Giants.
I
I'm
am
gonna
pulling for Washington so bad in this game.
Giants.
You
And
have
I
no
think-
idea.
And I think the Giants are going to come back to reality in this game, and I think the Giants.
They haven't won. People act like the Giants are blowing teams out.
No,
they're getting lucky.
They're not. They've won very
And the
close
Redskins are
games.
hungry
It's
to
like
get
the-
a win.
it's like the
Yeah.
Carolina.
So I'm picking the
It's like
Redskins.
Carolina.
Yep.
They got lucky a lot
Is
of
that Washington, right?
a lot of the games
Nope,
last
at
year.
New York. But they've lost their
Still
first
picking
2 home
Washington.
games. So.
Yeah. Still picking.
All right. Obviously, your guys' game of the week: Chicago versus Dallas in Jerry World.
Oh, I wonder. Yeah.
How big of a game do you think Dak's going to have?
I think
against this
they're
Bears
gonna have
defense?
they're gonna have breakout games. Him and Zeke. I don't
Yeah.
see.
think
I don't
the-
see that defense
I think
doing
Dak is
anything.
going to start throwing touchdowns like
You
left
think
and
the
That
right.
game's going to be a bloodbath.
Do you think
Yeah.
the Bears are within 2 scores of the Cowboys?
I I'm
honestly
saying
don't
like
think so.
35 to like 17, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm picking a major blowout now.
Yeah,
With
I
all the
think so.
injuries and
I think
shit
so,
they
too.
have, it'll probably
And
be
the
close to
Bears-
start, but the Cowboys.
The
will
Bears
pull away.
haven't even done much.
They'll kind of let
regardless.
them hang around a little bit, and then they'll.
I'll say 31-17 Cowboys.
Yeah.
And then here's an interesting game because Seattle has scored 15 total points in their first 2 games. Now
I'm
they
sure
play-
you're happy about that.
Seattle's
they play
missing
the-
Lynch.
No, I'm not. They play the 49ers now.
No, I'm
San
not.
Francisco versus Seattle. At Seattle, who you got, Aaron?
Oh,
What is going on with Seattle? Like,
I don't know.
They-
That's,
Talk about it later.
okay,
that's a
Fine.
tough. I
Seattle
don't know.
kind of sucks now. don't
Seattle has not looked good.
they? Yeah,
San Fran hasn't looked that bad actually. So I'm gonna go with the
they
Niners.
they almost hung around for that Panthers game.
I'm gonna go with the Niners.
They started scoring in that Panthers game and they almost won.
Sorry, Seattle. I think this is the year.
But then the
that
Panthers.
I think
started
Seattle's
scoring
going to pull it out because I think it's going to be their breakout game against against San
I
Francisco.
think-
yeah, for your
Now or
sake, you
never.
better hope
yeah,
so.
they need to.
again. I think the Niners. I picked the Niners.
So both you guys have the Niners.
I think
have
the Niners,
Seahawks.
the Niners are surprising me. I thought they were going to
Yeah.
be terrible. The Seahawks have looked worse
See,
than the
I
Niners.
thought-
I think Gabbert's going to throw a lot of picks.
I thought the
game.
Panthers game was going to be just blowout city, but the
Well,
Niners almost came back in
and they
that game.
killed the Rams, and the Rams just
All
beat
right, so that
Seattle.
leads into the next game. Rams
Yeah, by
at
like
Tampa
6.
Bay.
Ooh, that was a toilet bowl right there.
Ooh, Rams.
I'm gonna go Tampa.
I got the Rams.
Jameis will bounce back.
I got Tampa too.
Yeah.
All right.
You have the Tampa 2
Jets,
coverage.
What?
Tampa 2 coverage.
Tampa
That's who
2
you got?
against Tampa 2. All right, Jets at Kansas City. Good game,
Ooh.
possibly.
Jets.
Jonah?
That's a tough one.
They're gonna be without Marshall, I believe.
I think
So I have Decker.
I think
so
the
that's
Chiefs.
gonna be awesome.
Chiefs.
I think I picked the Jets.
I'm gonna go with the Jets.
I think
I'm
Chiefs.
I'm
Tough to
kind of
pick.
I'm kind of a closet Jets fan right now.
Tough
No.
to pick against Kansas City.
I like
have
the Jets.
Fitzpatrick.
I like the Jets team, and I think I like them even more now with Forte. And I think
I got me some
All right,
Fitzpatrick.
San Diego versus Indianapolis. Do you think Indianapolis can finally bounce back and win a game?
I think the Chargers shocked me by killing Jacksonville.
Yes, that
did
was a
not
big
expect
shock.
that at all. And they were killing the Chiefs until they came back. So I'm going to go with the Chargers. I think they're shocking me this year. I thought they were going to be terrible like the 49ers.
I'm going to pick the Colts to bounce back. Jonah, who you got?
I'm going to go with the old Chargers. Phillips going to light up that defense.
Yeah, I think Chargers too. Actually,
I think Luck's going to beat him in a shootout.
It'll be a shootout. For sure.
Pittsburgh versus Philadelphia. That could be an interesting game. but
Pittsburgh! Philly's going to come back to
think-
life with this one.
I think Pittsburgh is going to pull it out late in the fourth quarter. I think
Philly-
it's going to be a closer game than people
Eagles
think.
fans are the worst. And like this year, all over Facebook, they're like, "Our defense is the best." Yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah. All right, Jonah, who you got? Pittsburgh or Philly?
They're gonna
I say
get
Pittsburgh.
They're gonna get roasted by
Yeah.
Big
All right.
Ben.
And then the Monday night game, Atlanta versus New Orleans.
Another toilet bowl. I'm gonna go with New Orleans.
I'm going with the Saints as well.
Drew
Jonah?
Brees.
I got Atlanta actually on this
All
one.
right.
Yeah, it'll be close.
Yeah, another. Actually, I think I
They-
did.
I'm
pick
gonna switch
Atlanta.
to Atlanta. Yeah.
No, I did
Yeah.
pick the Saints. I'm gonna pick with the Saints.
Atlanta needs
because-
to get their first win. They're
It's a
they're gonna
tough-
come out hungry.
Well, they did win their first game last
Yeah.
week
Against the Raiders.
Oh, they won that game.
Yeah, dude, they
the
came
Raiders.
back.
And we're gonna talk about that.
They freaking destroyed
Yeah, I didn't
the
even pay
Raiders.
attention to that game.
So-
I didn't
They
even know.
destroyed
All right,
the
we're going
Raiders.
to take a commercial break and be right back with more with myself and Jonah, but
Yep.
Aaron is going to take
I'll
off.
be leaving.
Aaron's by.
All right, we'll be right back.
See you later.
Heading to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Baltimore, New York, London, or anywhere in the world and need a rent-a-car? Well, check out CarRental8.com, where you'll find the same car for less money. CarRental8.com sells all the brands like Dollar, Thrifty, Budget, Avis, Hertz, Alamo, Europcar, and so much more at affordable rates. We'll beat any price by a minimum of 30%. So check us out online at CarRental8.com or call us at 1-813-343-8138. That's 1-813-343-8138.
Use the promo JACKSHOW5, that's JACSHOW5, To get 5% off your next car rental, use all capital letters when you type in the promo code. Now back to the show. So the Vikings beating the Packers for the second straight time, dating back to last season, 17-14. Big win for the Vikings. But Jonah, what do you think? Vikings impressive or the Packers unimpressive or a little bit of both?
I don't know. I think the Packers are kind of on like a rocky start, but like the Seahawks. But I don't know. I think the Vikings with Bradford are actually looking pretty well adjusted to, I mean, without Peterson, they might have a slight decline, but I think they're doing pretty well.
Yeah, overall, Rodgers had 3 turnovers for the Packers, 2 fumbles and an interception to Trey Waynes after Rodgers was picking on Trey Waynes like all game long, and then he finally wins the battle in the end by picking it off, and then the Vikings run out the rest of the clock. A couple of gutsy calls by Zimmer, one on a 4th down. The Vikings decide to go for it, don't want to kick the field goal and still give Aaron Rodgers another chance. Good idea, because you never know with Rodgers. We've seen his heroics in the past. Packers, Rodgers did not look the greatest. He has not been very good going back to last season. Maybe you can blame some of it or put the blame on him because of Jordy Nelson, blah, blah, blah. But there's got to be a point where you say, this is not Jordy Nelson's fault. It is just because the Packers are not as good as they used to be. But at the same time, Rodgers is going to have to play better, and I think he will here eventually come back and play a lot better than what he has so far.
Yeah, I think they'll catch their stride again, and I think the Seahawks probably will too, and other teams like that. But it is actually kind of saddening to see the Packers not playing like they used to, because they're the Packers and they've always been infamous for playing really well. So yeah.
So then the next question, Bradford outperformed Rodgers. Like, can we believe it? It happened. Rodgers outperformed.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to believe. I mean, Bradford's been in the league for quite a bit, but Rodgers is a veteran quarterback, and to be outperformed by someone that's, a lot younger than you, and Bradford
About
hasn't
2 or 3 years younger. Yep.
Bradford hasn't really done much, with other teams, but I think with the Vikings, he might have found his bread and butter.
Yeah. Might have found a career in Minnesota. So are you digging it is the question. Stephon Diggs leads the NFL in receiving after 2 games. He's got a touchdown, and he looks to be tearing both the Titans defense and the Packers defense apart in those first 2 games. How impressive is Stephon Diggs right now?
Well, I'd say he's shaping up to be, like an AJ Green or, like one of the number 1 receivers that the Vikings have. And I don't think Bradford ever had that.
No.
So to connect with Diggs on multiple plays will win the Vikings games, I think.
Yes. So now the question is, obviously it's pretty early to tell, but is Rodgers a has-been? Is his MVP type level of play over, or is it just kind of in a valley right now where a peak could be coming back?
I don't know. I think that was kind of showing with Peyton Manning last year. Like you could obviously tell that playing was getting the best of him, and that could be happening to Rodgers. I don't know. It's obviously not a good thing for the Packers, but they really don't have anybody else. So
Yep.
I mean, they'd
It's
be
Rodgers
screwed
or
without
bust.
Rodgers. Yeah.
Yeah.
He just has to start playing like he used to, and if he doesn't, then yeah.
Obviously, a lot will be told from the Vikings game against the Panthers this week. But Bradford has been really impressive to me in that first game. No interceptions, no turnovers. He did take 4 sacks, but that's mainly due to the Vikings' offensive line. And, Bradford continues to play anywhere near or even half as well as he did against Green Bay. Then you can expect the Vikings to go quite a ways, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you look at I think it could also be the Vikings defense because
Oh, absolutely.
Because you look at the teams that Bradford's been with, and their defenses were awful when he played
Most
with
of
them.
the time, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, it could be the defense, like making it more, I don't know what the word would be, more plausible to win games, obviously.
Easier on the offense.
Yeah, easier on the offense. I think
So-
Bradford, he might catch his stride, and Vikings could be going places.
So if you're just joining, or if you're kind of confused about this show, we did already our week 3 predictions. Now we're going over week 2. So again, we'll talk about. We'll review our predictions a little bit later after we gone through this a little bit too. So now we'll go to 1 for 1. It's a little segment that we started last week. It's one question for one game. So we got some games here listed from week 2. Jonah, the Carolina Panthers beating the 49ers 46-27, but the Panthers were only ahead by 7 at about the midway point of the fourth quarter. Are you concerned that the Panthers were playing to the 49ers kind of competition there for a while?
I mean, I would say that the 49ers, obviously the Carolina Panthers offense isn't like crazy good like people think it is. I mean, I think it's overrated, but I think the 49ers kept in there, and they obviously fell apart at the end because they lost by so much.
Yep.
But I don't know. I don't know about the Panthers this year. I mean, they won that game, but who knows if they're going to win another one.
Yeah. I think it's a little concerning, but I think if the Panthers offense can at least score some points here, I think it's not too big of a deal. I think they'll be able to do some good things. And again, I still think they're going to win that division. Nobody else sticks out to me really at all. I'll still say the Panthers win that division. Giants beating the Saints 16-13. That was in New York. Are the Giants contenders or pretenders?
I'd say that they still might be somewhat pretenders just because the Giants have never really done much in the past. But my main concern is how in God's name did this game get so close?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You saw it last year when they met up with each other, and that was just a complete massacre blowout from both teams. And I don't know if their defenses got better or something, but yeah, it shouldn't have been this close.
Yeah. Like I said, I picked the Redskins to beat the Giants this week. I think the Giants are going to take a step back. I think Manning is going to come back to earth a little bit and start making some more mistakes, interceptions. I think the Giants' defense is going to start to struggle a little more than what it has. I think the signings that they did have were good, but I think there's still a gap in that defense that can be exposed, and I think the Redskins are going to do it, and I think some other teams are going to find a way to do it too.
Yeah, I feel the Redskins, they could possibly have what it takes. I mean, they obviously can't win division games very well because the Cowboys and Redskins division games have been close throughout the years anyway. So, I mean, I think Cousins looks as good as a starting quarterback, but
yeah, I think it's shaping up where Dallas is going to be tied for the division lead. They'll be like a half a game back of the Giants if they win this week because the Giants had the win over them. But, yeah, I think the Cowboys beat the Bears pretty handily, and I think the Redskins beat the Giants by a score, maybe even 2. And I think the Cowboys are right back in the race, and I think the Redskins will kind of flutter around 500 again, but still not enough to win the division. I still think Dallas wins the division. So the Patriots beating Miami, but Miami makes a little bit of a comeback. It was 21-0 at one point, and then the final score was 31-24, so the Miami Dolphins coming back a little bit. Obviously, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jimmy G, with the injury to his shoulder. He's supposedly a game-time decision for tonight's game. Again, we're recording on a Thursday night, or Thursday afternoon. Game's Thursday night. Can the Patriots win without Jimmy G tonight?
I obviously think that their chances are a lot more slim than they used to be. Because, I mean, Jimmy G had Tom Brady to, teach him and,
And Brissett's just getting started.
Yeah. And, I think Jimmy G had what it took, but without him, they really have nobody else. So I don't think they're going to win this one.
All right, so Jonah's changing his pick from earlier then.
Oh, yeah, right, from Houston. Well, I guess we'll have to see. I'm kind of 50-50 on that game because we'll just have to see how well Edelman does, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know why you'd put him in at quarterback. Do they really have nobody else?
Not really. They really don't have much. So, yeah, I don't think the Patriots win this game. We'll talk a little bit more if they can win the next game here in a bit. But, yeah, I don't think they win tonight. I think Houston wins by at least one score, if not 2. Steelers and Bengals, 24-16. Steelers get the win in Pittsburgh. Steelers now 2-0, a couple of pretty good wins. How far can the Steelers go, Jonah?
I think they will probably go as far as they did last year, and then, not make it to I don't know how. I forgot how far they went last year, but
lost in the AFC Championship game.
Oh.
No, they lost in the divisional round to
Right.
Denver, and then Denver beat New England in the divisional round.
I think the Steelers will probably make it that far again, and then they'll
Maybe
probably
make
just
the
choke
championship game.
again. Maybe. I think they might choke again just because, Roethlisberger is getting up there in age, and he's probably becoming more like Rodgers. He will eventually get to that point where he can't throw touchdown passes anymore, and he'll start to decline.
I think the Steelers go to the championship game, but I think they'll either lose to the Patriots or the Broncos or somebody else. I don't want the Broncos to get to the championship, but it's possible because of their defense. We'll talk about that here in a minute too. So yeah, I think the Steelers go to the championship. Maybe eventually maybe they do get the Super Bowl, but I don't know. I just am not confident in their defense, and I'm not confident on a lot of their offense's ability to stay on the field suspension-wise or health-wise. Le'Veon Bell's supposed to be coming back after this week, but will he be able to stay off his weed or whatever he's doing, and will the rest of the team be able to stay off whatever they're doing?
See, my problem with having star players being injured, first of all, if Le'Veon comes back, do you put him in if your other running back is doing better,
Yeah.
Or if next year, do you sit Bradford and put Bridgewater back in, If Bradford gets you as far as, he probably will, then do you kick him out or do you keep him, or when Romo comes back, do you put him in or do you keep Dak in? It's a really tough decision to be a coach in that situation because if I was a coach and Dak keeps winning games, keep him in.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. I don't want Romo to be at the end of his rope, but he just keeps getting injured, and there's really nothing you can do about that.
Yep, I agree. So the Rams beat the Seahawks. Unbelievable.
Oof.
Unbelievable. The Rams actually did it. They beat them
Seahawks.
twice last year, actually, too, I think.
Seahawks looking very disappointing.
Seahawks offense has 15 points in the first 2 games. How concerned are you with the Seahawks in general, and how concerned are you with their offense?
I honestly think that they are obviously missing Lynch, like, bad.
Well, especially with the ankle injury that Wilson has right now, too.
Yeah. I don't know. The Seahawks have always been that team that, makes it and, gets into the playoffs regardless of,
Slow starts.
Yeah. But I don't know, like I don't know if they have what it takes anymore. Like the Packers. I don't know. You'll have to see like later on in the weeks ahead, but
Defense still has it. I mean,
Yeah,
they've only
yeah.
allowed 10 and 9 points, so definitely the defense is there.
yeah. But I don't know, like it's tough to say now, but I don't know if the Seahawks, could they probably will pull it out just because,
It's the Seahawks.
because football is weird like that. But yeah, I don't know. Tough to call.
Yeah. So then the Broncos. Yeah, I think, first of all, I think the Seahawks do bounce back this week, and I think they'll get back into it here eventually. Broncos, though, they win again, 34-20. They're 2-0 now. I think they're going to lose to Cincy this week, though, because it's at Cincinnati, and I think the Bengals defense is going to fool Trevor Siemian quite a bit. They're going to make him have to throw the ball, and he's going to make mistakes. But the Broncos, as of right now, they're 2-0. Are they not going to miss the playoffs?
Ooh, that is a tough one. I think, like you've said, multiple times that defenses win championships. And obviously that is, a clear sign that I think the Broncos will make it to the playoffs again. But it'll be tougher against teams like, the Bengals or stuff like that. You just have to worry about Simeon and if he makes the right plays.
Yep.
And if he doesn't make any rookie mistakes,
Because there's going to be teams that stop C.J. Anderson, and then it's going to be up to Simeon to make the plays. And we've seen that he's been iffy under pressure, like in the Carolina game. They made him throw some turnovers, throw some ducks up there. So I think there's a very good chance that Denver loses this week, and they could maybe take some steps back. But you can never count them out because of that great defense.
Yes. But yeah, I'd say like Simeon does look pretty decent, but obviously you wouldn't consider him starting quarterback. But he needs to start like connecting with like Demaryius Thomas or Emmanuel Sanders. Like get those guys in open field, and they'll make Simeon look like one of the best quarterbacks, because they did with Peyton Manning and.
So then the last game we'll talk about from Week 2 recap. Falcons beating the Raiders of all teams. I did not think the Falcons were going to beat the Raiders. 35-28, the final score. Falcons with the upset. Can they win the AFC or the NFC South, or do the Panthers have it locked up?
I honestly think that the Panthers might take a few steps back from last year because they're just not as great as people think they are. And the Falcons just came out of nowhere at the end of this game, and I didn't even see that coming. But, I mean, the Raiders' defense is pretty decent, though. So, I mean, if the Falcons play any, like, decent defenses, I think they'll make it pretty far. They have that, like, potential to come back in games and win.
Yeah. I think they would struggle against the Vikings defense, though, that's for sure.
That's
But,
for sure.
yeah, I could still see them winning this division, honestly. I think Carolina still squeaks it out at the end, but I still think the Falcons have a legit shot. I think the Bucs are just a little bit too young yet, and they kind of prove that by getting blown out by the Cardinals. That's why we're not talking about that game. So we'll
Right.
talk about the Buccaneers maybe next week after
But-
they beat the Rams, maybe.
I am no longer concerned with Palmer and the Cardinals.
No,
Because
they showed themselves
yeah,
this week.
they freaking. I knew Palmer was gonna come out swinging and throwing touchdown passes, and I knew that he was gonna get his stride back, and I'm glad that because he's on my fantasy.
All right, we'll take another quick break and be right back with Ludicrous or Legit NFL version right after this.
Hey listeners, don't forget to find You Don't Know Jack Show on Facebook at facebook.com/You Don't Know Jack Show, Twitter at twitter.com/Don't Know Jack Show, and Instagram at instagram.com/You Don't Know Jack Show. You can also follow Carson on Twitter at Radio Ruben. Now back to the show.
And welcome back to Ludicrous or Legit. Just kidding. You Don't Know Jack Show with Jonah, Aaron, and Carson. Aaron already had to get out of here, but Jonah and I will play a little Ludicrous or Legit, and then we'll review our predictions for Week 3 because we did them earlier, and then we will get out of here. All right, so the Panthers will barely make the playoffs, Jonah. Ludicrous or Legit?
I honestly think that is possibly legit, just because I don't know. Last year it could have been a fluke. I mean, they won a lot of close games, and I think they got really lucky last year. So, I mean, their defense is obviously good, but I don't know about their offense.
I think it's extremely legit because I think that the Falcons and maybe even the Bucs will be there towards the end. But Week 17, the Panthers will close down the division and they'll win it. So barely making the playoffs.
I think the Bucs have they have what it takes. It's just against the Cardinals, their defense fell apart pretty bad.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it'll be Falcons and Bucs up there.
So then you have the next ludicrous or legit question. The Giants will start to falter this weekend. I obviously think it's very legit. Jonah, what do you think? Ludicrous or legit?
I'd say that's clearly legit, just because the Redskins are a better team, I think, and the Giants will start to become the Giants again, and Eli will start throwing a whole mess of picks and go back to his old ways.
So you're changing that pick too?
Which one? Oh.
Redskins and Giants. Jonah's changing his picks here, guys.
I did pick the Giants, didn't I?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I'm kind of 50-50 on that one too, to be honest. But I think I would be leaning more towards the Redskins now that I think about it.
All right. Vikings will win the division without Peterson. Ludicrous or legit?
I'd say legit, to be fair, because, I mean, Bradford and I like the Bradford-Diggs connection right now. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to take him pretty far.
And you got Jerick McKinnon. You got Matt Asiata. And the Vikings also signed Ronnie Hillman,
Ooh.
running back from Denver last year, who had 970 yards rushing. Mm-hmm. They signed him, so he'll probably be a mix in there eventually. Maybe not right away,
Even
but
though they barely ran.
yeah. So I don't think the Vikings' running game is going to be a problem at all. I think could actually benefit the offense now that they don't have to cater it around Adrian Peterson. Now it can be kind of more balanced, I think. So yeah, I think it's very legit that the Vikings could win this division. Again, I don't want to rule out the Packers. The other two teams, they're out of it. No doubt about it. But the Packers could all of a sudden come back to life on offense. They probably will this week just because it's Green Bay and they always like to stick around. So
But yeah, I'd say, I mean, you look at the Vikings without Peterson a couple years back, and the only reason why they weren't good per se was because of their like quarterback situation that they had. Mm-hmm. They had horrible quarterbacks, and their defense wasn't as good as it is now. So I think what they have now is a perfect like setup for success.
Yep. All right, Dak Prescott has taken Tony Romo's job for good. Ludicrous or legit?
Now, as a Cowboys fan, obviously, I'd say probably not, just because Jason Garrett loves Tony Romo, and he obviously wants Romo back in as soon as possible. But Dak Prescott, I think he is learning really quickly, and I think he has what it takes to be a starting quarterback. I just don't know if the Cowboys put Romo back in, is that a good idea or is that a bad idea? You know?
Mm-hmm. I think
they put him back in, last year, and he got injured again. Mm-hmm. Do you want that to happen again? Then I don't know. Do you play him? Do you not play him? Is Romo going to play another down? I don't know.
I think they're going to put Romo back in when he's healthy because I think Jerry Jones doesn't want Romo to end his career that way, and I think Jerry Jones just loves Tony Romo so much.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they'll put him back in for a while, and if he starts to struggle again, I think Jason Garrett should. I don't know if he will, but I think he should make the decision to put Dak back in.
And then Romo will probably be done in Cowboys.
Well, he still has a big contract though with the Cowboys, so he'll either have to retire or accept a new role or ask for a trade or buyout or something.
He could be like a QB coach or something.
Yeah, he's been looking good with those headphones on the sideline already.
I'm just saying, Romo, he's obviously he has that like fire to get back in there. But once he got injured, it's just been a downward spiral. Like when he went back in last year, he was just looking really scared, and he didn't want to get injured again, so he wasn't playing like Romo does. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's the problem with people getting injured all the time. I mean, you look at AP though, he came back and ran for the most yards any running back would. And, I don't know. If I were the coach, I would probably keep Dak in if he, keeps winning games and he, Dak looks like Romo, I think, now anyway.
All right. Aaron Rodgers will never return to MVP form. That doesn't mean he won't be good again, but ludicrous or legit, he'll never return to MVP form.
I honestly think that's probably one of the toughest ones. I think, Rodgers, he's kind of a strange quarterback. Like he has what it takes to become MVP again. He's just not showing it right now, and I don't know if he's scared or if he's just, at the end of his rope and he doesn't want to play anymore. I don't know. But obviously Packers fans have nobody else to turn to,
Yeah. I think this is a possibly legit question. I don't know if I think he'll be good, but I don't think he's going to get to MVP level again. I don't think it's going to be 65% completion, 40 touchdowns, 10 interceptions type of performances again for Rodgers. I could see maybe 30 touchdowns and maybe 12 interceptions. I can maybe see the interceptions being low, but his completion percentage has been 60% or less, and the NFL average is usually right around 62.5% to 63%. So, I mean, that's definitely not good enough. I mean, MVP level for Cam Newton is different because he can also run really well. Like, that's part of his game. Rodgers can escape and he can get some yardage every now and then, but he's not going to be a running quarterback. He's a scrambling quarterback at times, but not to where Cam Newton is.
And obviously, I don't know, their defense seems very rocky too, like since last year. Like, I don't know.
Secondary, especially, I'd say.
Like, their defense is becoming probably one of the lowest defenses in the league.
They've still got some playmakers, that's for sure. But I think a lot of people overrate Green Bay's defense overall. Their secondary is not as great as people say it is. Demarius Randall's okay. He's still only in his second year. He's got a lot of learning to do. Clinton Dix, I'd say, is the best player in their secondary, but Morgan Burnett's overrated, and the rest of their corners are not very good. They lost Casey Hayward in the offseason. That's a huge loss. He was I'd say he was their best corner last year, and for the couple of years before that. He had a couple picks against the Jaguars for the Chargers. He plays for the Chargers now. I think that's part of the reason why the Chargers are actually doing pretty well.
I see. My only concern is, like, you look at the Colts, right? I mean, obviously their defense is way worse than the Packers. But the fact is, Andrew Luck can't really get it done on offense anymore. And I don't think Rodgers will probably, snap back and, get his MVP again. But it's not looking very good for him right now.
No. So moving on to the Broncos defense will carry them to the AFC West crown, or the AFC West Division Championship. Ludicrous or legit?
I'd say that's actually pretty legit. Their defense is looking really well, to be fair. And it might be one of the best. I think it is one of the best in the league at this moment.
Definitely top 5 still, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe even the best. I'd say probably the best as of right now.
I mean, it's pretty much the only thing that's keeping them alive. I mean, Simeon is doing pretty well, but I think, without
He's going to be exposed this weekend, I think.
Yeah. Without a defense, there's nothing you can do on offense. Like, if you have a crap defense and you can't score anything on an offense, then your team is going to suck.
So, yeah, I think the Broncos could still win it, but I still have confidence in the Raiders, even though they did lose to the Falcons. I think their defense is going to shape up a little bit, and I think they're going to be still all right. I'll say that the Falcons win was impressive, but again, I think the Raiders still can win that division. Now moving on to the last ludicrous or legit. The Patriots will not win another game without Tom Brady. Ludicrous or legit?
I'd say that is probably one of the most legit statements, just because they don't even have Jimmy G anymore,
Yep.
And I think they're going to be, aren't they like 2-0 right now?
Yep.
So I think they're going to go 2-2. Brady's going to come back, be Brady again, and then they're probably going to win the rest of their games, I think.
Yeah, I think that they will lose this week, and I think they're even going to lose to the Bills. The Bills will get their first win against the Patriots. I think Jimmy G will be questionable because of his injury. But I think he still ends up not doing well enough. Even if he comes back, I still think he's going to have injuries. And, yeah. So, again, we'll quickly go over our predictions. We all picked Houston to win. Jonah changed his pick again. Jonah and I picked the Vikings to beat Carolina. Aaron went with the Panthers. We all picked Cincinnati to beat Denver. We all picked the Redskins to beat the Giants after Jonah changed his pick. And we all picked the Cowboys. They both picked the 49ers, and I picked the Seahawks. We all picked the Bucks except for Jonah. He picked the Rams. We all picked the Jets except for Jonah. He picked the Chiefs, I think, right? And They both went with the Chargers, I think, and I went with the Colts. Philadelphia, none of us picked Philadelphia. We've all picked Pittsburgh to beat Philadelphia. And then we also picked, both of them picked Atlanta to beat New Orleans, and I picked New Orleans. So those are our NFL predictions for Week 3. And that is going to conclude the You Don't Know Jack Show, episode number 7. And again, Aaron had to leave early, so Joan and I kind of did it on our own. So again, want to thank you for tuning in to the You Don't Know Jack Show. Again, now we're on TuneIn Radio. Don't forget, we're on YouTube. If you want notifications of when the next show comes out, you can go onto YouTube and subscribe. Subscribe to us on YouTube, and then get a notification every time there's a new show. And also, give us the views on YouTube. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. And again, this has been the You Don't Know Jack Show with Jonah, Aaron, and Carson. Go Vikings, go Cowboys, go Hawkeyes. And we will see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the You Don't Know Jack Show with Jonah, Aaron, and Carson. If you want to read articles, get more information, or have questions about the show, go to our website, youdon'tknowjackshow.com. You can subscribe and listen to the show on iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and TuneIn Radio.
I'm here so I won't get fined.